Wow, we have some big news to report to all of you this Saturday afternoon. Tesla Chan wrote this post with the screenshot that Tesla is working to distribute FSD Beta outside North America. And as you can see, this looks like Chinese to me, and I do not speak Chinese, so I had to throw this into a translation and take a look at what it says. It's basically just the overview of full self-driving beta, but at the bottom it says, warning. As full self-driving beta deployment expands, Tesla will gradually make it available to eligible customers in select countries outside the US and Canada. As ex-user Hosh responds to Tesla Chan's post, he says that's potentially a lot of recurring revenue. FSD Beta is currently only available in the US and Canada, and that's only 8% of the world's population. Tesla has roughly 500,000 FSD users in North America. Just imagine what this number would be if this was launched in, let's say, Europe or China. To some degree, it already has. Full self-driving beta is reportedly coming out in Europe and Australia to a few testers. There were two vehicles in particular, a Model SP100D with 3.0 hardware that received the update 2023.12. This was back in May of 2023. The biggest reason why FSD Beta is not allowed in Europe is because it does not comply with UN Regulation 79. This regulation states, quote, "The vehicle shall be driven without any force applied by the driver on the steering wheel by removing the hands from the steering wheel with a constant speed on a curved track with lane markings on each side. The recorded acceleration is within the limits specified in this regulation." And there's actually a lot that is in Regulation 79. As you can see here, there has been 78 addendums to UN Regulation number 79, so it's pretty comprehensive. I will link this down below in the description of this video if you guys would like to read this. I did myself. It will take too long to read it here in this video, but it sounds like Tesla's and the FSD vehicles that we are seeing every day that are well documented are following the procedures that are required for an entry into Europe. So I imagine this could be a big checkmate move from Elon and Tesla in 2024. On August 15th, 2023, Electric put out this article that Tesla is taking steps to launch FSD Beta in China. Local media outlet 36KR said in a report that the US electric vehicle EV maker is planning to form a local operations team of around 20 people initially to bring FSD into the Chinese market. Tesla back in August also hired a new team of data labelers in China to help train its neural nets on Chinese roads with different road signs and infrastructure. Tesla at the time was looking to hire hundreds of data labelers, according to the report. Electric's take on this is, quote, "While there is credibility to the report, I don't think you should hold your breath. On top of the technological side of things, which is no easy task, it is likely going to be an uphill battle to have the regulator approve it. I wouldn't expect a launch until next year, but that's just a guess." And lo and behold, it is now almost next year, and I think Europe and China, well, you're probably going to get FSD Beta launching in those countries at some point this year. That is on top of all of the other many catalysts we are looking forward to that should help you make money in your Tesla stock positions. Do me a quick favor though, if you guys made it to this point in the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more information to cover, and if you guys want to come trade with us live in real time, come get access to all of the trade alerts that I put out. We have been hitting some home runs, 1,000% winner last week, 400% winner last week. The week before that was some big trades as well. If you guys would like to join us, link down below in the description of this video. Greece reported 127 Tesla sales and 1.1% market share for October, and year to date, This is 237% higher than the same period last year. Rivian is offering free wall chargers and a $2,000 installation credit with a purchase of an R1T. Jim Chanos is shutting down his fund after 40 years. More recently, Chanos has struggled to turn his pessimistic positions into profits. His firm manages less than $200 million today, down from $6 billion in 2008. He lost a lot of money shorting Tesla. This guy is literally famous for shorting Tesla. Seems like anyone who shorts Tesla either goes out of business or loses a lot of money. But to Jim Chanos' credit, he is the legendary short seller who famously bet against Enron a year before its 2001 collapse. This is a good reminder that people that are famous for shorting stocks during times of crises or when they actually got things right, like Jim Chanos in 2001 with Enron or Michael Burry with the housing market crisis and ultimate collapse in 2008, 2009, sometimes they're one-trick ponies, and it doesn't mean a whole lot if they go short again, or they short Tesla, or short XYZ stock, or sector of our markets. Nikola's CFO is resigning to pursue other opportunities less than a year after joining the company. And some of the biggest news today, the Starship introduced a new concept called hot staging. This is essentially when the fires, right, the engines are still going as you separate. It gets rid of some of this drag from gravity, thus ultimately meaning maybe if you get into outer space, you'll need less energy to, say, go to Mars or something, because that drag gravity puts on you reduces your travel distance you can go, essentially, and makes it longer and more difficult to get to a further destination. So this was a great step in the right direction, but financial media says it was a failure. And really, you shouldn't expect anything less. A US judge has dismissed an antitrust lawsuit accusing Tesla of forcing customers to pay high prices and suffer long waits for repairs by monopolizing the market for vehicle maintenance and replacement parts. The judge said the proposed class action failed to show either that the alleged problems were not generally known when they bought their vehicles, or that they could not predict the cost to keep their vehicles running. She also said customers could not prove that Tesla coerced them into using its services and parts simply because they had bought their vehicles in the first place. I should also point out the Starship rocket is the most powerful rocket in the world that has ever been launched by far. The thing has 32 rocket engines attached to it, and this is a powerful moment for humanity and for ultimately making humans a spacefaring species and a multi-planetary colonized species. The most latest AI investor sentiment survey has the bulls at 43.8%. That is up about 1.2% from last week at 42.6%. The level of neutral investors is actually down about 2%, and the amount of bears is up about 1%. This picture shows you just the rapid change in sentiment we have recently seen in our markets and CTA positioning in US equities. You are down here with the lows of the Rona, the lows of the 2018 crash, and lows like the Great Financial Crisis. Even during 2022, CTAs had a much higher allocation to stocks than they had just in October. And now that is completely changed to now you're at the highest level of allocation to stocks in the past 2 weeks or so. Just meaning more dollars are heading into stocks now than into any other asset class at a record pace. This is a record reversal. This looks like, if you were to plot this out, that you just went through a major crash and you're rocketing higher for markets. Not exactly what has happened recently, but that's at least what the initial, reports look like under the surface. There's a lot of people that are getting pretty bullish on stocks. This is a good one to show as well. You've finally seen the first outflow from treasuries since February of 2023. Now, when you get outflows of treasuries, usually that means that money's probably going into stocks. To the contrary, when you get inflows to treasuries, a lot of money that is being, bought for treasuries came from markets, came from stock markets. So normally when you see outflows like this, the most notable period is 2019, the end of 2019 through 2021. Look at all these outflows. Look at this zero line, this just zero line right here. And this 4-week moving average, well, it was dipping a lot under this zero line during this period of time. And look what happened to stocks. Stocks absolutely ripped. Now look at the last 2 years or so. Well, you've been trending higher for inflows into treasuries, and stocks have been going lower basically across the board. This could be the start of another big switch. And this chart shows you the same thing. When money starts to outflow from treasuries into stocks, at that point of the change of trend, you tend to get that bottom and that actual move higher in equity markets. Tesla's global inventory numbers showing a nice uptick here for the Model 3. That is welcomed at this point. Model 3 inventory has been so low, and the Model Y is jumping sharply, whereas the Model S and the Model X are declining at a pretty rapid pace. Google Trends data continues to look better and better for the Cybertruck. I'm sure that's going to happen heading into November 30th, and then you're going to see a big spike after November 30th when you get people that finally learn about the Cybertruck. Most average people out there have no idea what the Cybertruck is. When they start to cover that on like a world news or a local news, that's where that halo effect could actually kick in for the entire Tesla franchise. But if you look at the Model 3 and the Model Y here as of recently, you are seeing a downturn in the search trend activity. As of recently, the personal savings rate went from 4% in August of 2023 down to 3.4% in September. This could be a good or a bad thing. The reason why the personal spending number is going down would typically be because people are either spending like they are drunk, which would be good, or people just cannot afford to live. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. I think it's just because the cost of living is so high. They can't save money. That could be a negative thing to be watching. But again, like you've seen in 2005, people were kind of spending like they were drunk coming out of the not depression, but kind of like a depression for a lot of stocks. A lot of your stocks did not recover during the 2000 dot-com bust and the subsequent recession. People were spending like they were drunk in 05, and the personal savings rate hit as low as 1.4%. The percentage of stocks above their 50-day moving average is sitting at 61.04%. Your highs back in July were about 76%, so there is some room to go higher, but I think this data that we previously just went over suggests to see some sideways trading action in our markets, or even some downwards trading action, would make a lot of sense and would actually be good news to see a period of, kind of slow and steady sideways price action, because you don't want a market that just rips higher and then ultimately comes crashing right back down. You'd rather have it like a staircase, right? You go up, trade sideways, you go up, you trade sideways, you go up, you trade sideways. And that's just this change of sentiment that we have seen from basically $0 getting allocated to stocks, and now almost every dollar is getting allocated to stocks. At the same time, a lot of people are still bearish though. So to a contrarian indicator, you have a lot of bears out there. I've reported this previously. S&P, as of last week, was 61% bearish, 39% bullish for the inflows. The Dow is 70% bearish and 30% bullish for the inflows. I mean, that's bullish, right? So many people are bearish. That is bullish for stocks. Here's this article. Tesla shareholders question Musk leadership as outrage grows over controversial tweets. This is just fear, uncertainty, and doubt at this point. Judging off of Tesla's move higher on Friday, this is over at this point. Tesla stock was up 1/3% on Friday. You were up a lot more than that at one point. Markets kind of gave up towards the end of the day, and really it was a tug of war for Friday. The bulls did win out. As you can see, this low of the trading day on Friday was around $226.69. The bulls came in at that point once you hit the low, pushed the stock all the way to $237. That was a $10 move higher from the bulls, and then you did retrace a little bit to close at $233.99. Overall, it looks like the bulls are starting to regain some control in this upcoming week. If you are a bull, you want to see Tesla stock break above $240 per share. If you're a bear, you want to see Tesla stock fall quite a bit, about $12 or so, and break under $222.29. That is your 200-day moving average, and that could set you up for more downside. But as of right now, it looks like there's a lot of demand between 222 and 226. Tesla's option activity over the past week was 53% positive, with 7,025 hedge fund and institutional orders totaling $10.7 billion. On Friday, you were slightly on the negative side with a positive order value of 45% and a dollar amount worth of Tesla options around $1 billion. So that is all of your Tesla stock news and analysis that you need to know over this weekend, and some things you didn't want to know, but I hope you found value in what you now know. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. It costs you nothing to do that, and it helps push this video out to as many like-minded individuals that need to hear this video as possible. That is it. That's going to do it for your Saturday update. If you guys want to come trade with us live in real time, link down below in the description of this video, as well as check out UN Regulation 79. I will have that link down below in the description of this video. I'm convinced you should also read that. It's like 4 pages long. It's nothing too crazy, but it is pretty in-depth on the requirements for FSD. So that is it, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.